Alright, rev up those engines, guys and gals. Today, we're taking a scenic joyride through the worst muscle car mishaps in history. I'm talking about designs that look like they were dreamed up by your cousin's high school metal shop class. Engines that sounded more like reluctant lawnmowers than a growling beast. And power? Oh wait, what power? Muscle cars so weak they couldn't swat a fly, much less burn rubber. Get ready to meet the most spectacular flops to ever roll off the assembly line. Number 1. 1958 Edsel Corsair. Let's kick off with a car that had so much hype it could have run on pure ego alone. Ford spent millions to tell us how the Edsel was the next big thing. They even invented the word Corsair to make it sound faster. But when the car finally showed up, it looked like a fish gasping for air. That iconic grille looked like an upright horse collar. And for a muscle car, the Corsair's engine was about as ferocious as a soggy bowl of cornflakes. What makes the Edsel truly special, though, was that it managed to combine boring performance with an embarrassingly high price tag. Muscle car? More like must have been joking. Number 2. 1954 Kaiser Darrin. Here is a sight to behold. The Kaiser Darrin, a car with curves that seemed to be inspired by melting ice cream, and a mouth that looked like it was ready to eat small children. It was one of America's first fiberglass cars, so you'd think it'd be light and fast, right? Wrong. This thing had a sluggish 90 horsepower engine that would have struggled on an incline. And those doors, oh boy, they slid into the car. It was like the Kaiser Darrin was designed with only one thing in mind: looking bizarre. Function? Power? Not even on the menu. Number 3. 1954 Hudson Jet. Hudson Jet sounds like a pretty powerful name, right? Almost like it should fly down the highway and leave everyone in its dust. Nope. The Hudson Jet had all the finesse and performance of a cinder block. Hudson wanted this to be their ticket into the muscle car craze, but they didn't put in enough power. People looked at it and went, "Did someone just glue wings onto a potato?" And that's probably the nicest thing they've said. If there was ever an award for the most misleading name, this baby would win, hands down. Number 4. 1955 Dodge Lancer. Dodge, known for its powerhouse muscle cars, right? Well, that reputation came much later because the Dodge Lancer of 1955 certainly did not contribute to it. This was Dodge's awkward teenage phase. The design was all over the place, like it couldn't decide if it wanted to be a family sedan or a performance car. The Lancer's V8 engine sounded good on paper, but in real life, it huffed and puffed, and that's about it. This Lancer wasn't about to win any drag races, and honestly, it probably wouldn't have won any foot races either. Number 5. 1954 Nash Metropolitan. The Nash Metropolitan, a muscle car for ants? It was the only car on this list that might have benefited from a protein shake or two. Sure, it was designed to be compact and economical, but when you slap the word muscle on something, you expect it to be more than 42 horsepower? At that point, this car would have come with a set of pedals to give it a little bit of a boost. It might look charming in hindsight, but the Metropolitan was anything but a head-turner. In fact, other cars probably just looked down and patted it on its head. Number 6. 1953 Studebaker Champion. Studebaker threw out the Champion, hoping it would rule the roads. Instead, they might as well have called it the Studebaker Participant. It had a 6-cylinder engine that sounded like it was just about ready to throw in the towel. If you were lucky, it would eventually reach 60 miles per hour after a very long wait. This car was a champion in the same way my dog is a champion of naps. But hey, it did have style for someone who really, really loved teardrop shapes. Number 7. 1958 Chevrolet Biscayne. The Chevrolet Biscayne had all of the flash of a suburban backyard barbecue. It was like Chevy went, let's make a car that does nothing. For a muscle car, the Biscayne didn't have much muscle, and the design was as inspiring as a ham sandwich. Sure, some might argue it was functional, but isn't that just a nice way of saying it had no personality? The Biscayne was everything you'd expect from a car that spent more time at the local supermarket than any kind of speedway. Number 8. 1955 Plymouth Fury. Now, the Fury sounds like it should have been a raging bull on the road. but sadly, it had about as much rage as a mildly annoyed kitten. It promised big things, but it just didn't deliver. Sure, it was a good-looking car, but every time you tried to gun it, the engine sort of whimpered. The Fury was definitely a case of all bark, no bite. In fact, this one's only fury might have been directed at its own sluggish performance. Number 9. 1950 Crosley Hotshot. The Crosley Hotshot. With a name like that, you're expecting fireworks, right? Well, at least a sparkler. But no, this was the world's most ironic name choice. The Hotshot had a tiny 44 cubic inch, 26 horsepower engine. It was cute in the same way a baby turtle is cute. Slow, small, and liable to get squashed by anything with real power. To be fair, it could corner pretty well, but only because it never got going fast enough to have serious traction issues. The only hotshot thing about this car was its ability to start. Most days. Number 10. 1957 King Midget Model 3. And finally, we have the King Midget Model 3. Yes, folks, it's called a King Midget, which sounds like it was a joke that just went too far. The Model 3 was marketed as an affordable build-it-yourself car, which sounds fun until you realize you were building a glorified go-kart. The King Midget had an engine that could barely push it above 50 miles per hour. Now, if you're looking to muscle past a lawnmower or a kid on a bike, this car would get you there, eventually. But as for actually doing what a muscle car is supposed to do, sadly, not. And there you have it, guys and gals. 10 cars that really make you appreciate what came after them. While these are flops, shall we say, innovative in all the wrong ways, they paved the road for the muscle cars we now know and love. So here's to misunderstood, poorly powered pioneers, because if nothing else, they certainly gave us something to laugh about. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe so you can enjoy more content like this.